chance to do 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds with your whole family on board.
What they found in nearly every Koenigsegg Gemera isn't just amazing. It's hard to believe. Under this fancy car's smooth carbon body is engineering so extreme, it feels unreal. From a gearbox inspired by luxury watches to space-age doors that give off heat, Koenigsegg has broken every car-making rule. Today, we uncover the unbelievable secrets hiding in almost every Koenigsegg Gemera. So wild, they'll make you question what you know about cars.
Did you know?
Gear shifting like never before. In the world of supercars, gear systems often take a back seat to big engine power and high speeds. But what they found in nearly every Koenigsegg Gemera changes that thinking. The focus is now on an amazing part, the light-speed tourbillon transmission, LSTT. This 9-speed, multi-clutch system is not just a gearbox. It's proof of Koenigsegg's push to be different. The LSTT comes from the light-speed transmission first seen in the Koenigsegg Jesko. But for the Gemera, it was rebuilt to fit a 4-seater supercar. The word tourbillon comes from Swiss watches, where a special part improves accuracy. The LSTT aims for that same perfect precision in shifting gears. The LSTT has a 3x3 gear setup, giving it 9 forward speeds. This system, along with several clutches, lets it switch between any gear nearly instantly, without stepping through each one. There's no regular flywheel either, which makes the engine spin faster and respond quicker. That's some truly exact engineering. A cool part of the LSTT is how it works with the Gemera's engine. The gearbox surrounds the engine and powers the back wheels and a front drive shaft. This tight fit saves space and weight, boosting the car's performance. The LSTT helps cut about 150 kilograms from the drive system compared to older styles. Another smart idea is that the LSTT doesn't need a separate reverse gear or starter motor. The built-in dark matter electric motor does those jobs, making the system simpler and lighter. This clever design shows Koenigsegg's goal to save weight and keep power. The LSTT also controls the Gemera's all-wheel drive. It uses special gears and oil-based clutches to send power to each rear wheel. This means the car handles better and stays steady even when driving fast or sharp. Thanks to this system, the Gemera goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 1.9 seconds. That puts it among the fastest cars ever made. And even with all that speed, it changes gears smoothly, making it nice to drive every day. But fast shifting is only one part of the story. Now, let's look inside the Gemera, where performance meets real comfort in a way you won't expect. A coffee shop inside the car.
This car has 4 cup holders mounted in the front seat area, and it has another 4 cup holders mounted in the rear seat area.
Inside the Gemera, the first sign that the engineers went over the top appears even before you start the car. Open the special door and look down. There are 8 cup holders made of carbon fiber, 1 hot and 1 cold for each person. Big SUVs often don't handle drink temperatures well, but this car gives you both hot coffee and cold soda in the same space. Koenigsegg spent 2 years perfecting how to heat and cool drinks, while other brands barely think about it. Christian von Koenigsegg jokes that the car can take sharp turns at 1.4 G and still keep your coffee looking perfect. But it's not a joke, it's been proven in tests. Each cup holder is like a tiny heater or cooler. 4 hot drinks, liquid that has already collected heat from the battery flows through copper pipes in the aluminum ring, then goes back to the radiator. The cold ones use cooling gas from the AC and a tiny pump to chill the same metal. The system keeps drinks between 60 degrees Celsius for hot ones and 5 degrees Celsius for cold, staying within 1 degree even if it's -10 or +30 outside. You can control everything from the tall touchscreen and see live temperature changes, updated 10 times every second. Tests in cold Sweden proved it works. Writers from Carbuzz left a mug of tea in a Gemera overnight in -20 degrees Celsius weather. After driving 200 kilometers at dawn toward the Arctic Circle, the tea was still at 59 degrees Celsius, hot enough to fog up a camera lens. They also tried with a cold soda on a 90-minute drive on Germany's no-speed limit A7 highway. Even at 250 kilometers per hour, the can came out with cold drops still on it. The cup holders also have laser lines inside to grip the cup enough to stop spills but not damage cheap paper cups. Each cup holder also has smart sensors. 4 pressure sensors under each ring watch the drink's weight and heat. If the car thinks you might spill something hot during a sudden stop, it tightens the seatbelt by 20 millimeters to hold your elbow steady and prevent burns. This data also helps the air system avoid blowing hot air on open coffee. These small touches only add half a kilogram to the car, much less than what Koenigsegg saved by removing heavy engine parts like camshafts. But why spend so much time making sure drinks stay hot or cold in a car that can go 400 kilometers per hour? Christian's answer is simple: grand touring means long drives. If a car brand can't keep coffee warm, how can you trust it with your loved ones at over 400? With the drink staying perfect, we now turn to the small but mighty engine that powers it all. Small but strong engine. Open the back of the Gemera and you'd expect a long V8 engine. But what they found inside surprises everyone. A small 2-liter, 3-cylinder engine called the Tiny Friendly Giant. The name sounds funny until you see it makes 600 horsepower. The engine is made from magnesium, so it weighs just 70 kilograms, lighter than the battery in a Rolls-Royce Phantom. It's placed low and far back in the car, giving the Gemera a race car-like balance and a 47% rear weight bias. And yes, almost every Koenigsegg Gemera has this same strange but smart setup. Its secret is free valve tech. Instead of camshafts, each valve is controlled by small electric pneumatic parts. This lets the car's computer decide how long and how far each valve opens for every engine cycle. At idle, it uses one kind of cycle to save fuel. At full throttle, it uses another to get more power. Because there are no cam lobes forcing limits, the engine works well at all speeds and can rev up to 8,500 RPM without sounding like a small, noisy engine. Engineers say it makes 300 horsepower per liter, an amazing number that shouldn't be possible. But it's real and found in nearly every Gemera. The engine can use many fuel types. On E85, power rises to 620 horsepower and emissions drop because ethanol comes from plants. If you use synthetic methanol, tested by Koenigsegg's sister company, it starts easily even at -15 degrees Celsius and gives the same power while releasing only water and reused CO2. Owners love that the car can drive in places with bad fuel because the engine adjusts itself after 1 tank of gas. The engine also saves energy. A special generator on the exhaust turns heat into electricity, up to 12 kilowatts. On the highway, this powers the 14 kilowatt-hour battery, so the engine doesn't need to rev above 3,000 unless you push hard. Press the quiet button on the steering wheel, and the exhaust goes through a long path, making just 75 decibels of noise, quiet enough for early morning drives. Press track mode and the exhaust path shortens, making a deep growl like Koenigsegg's V8s, still within EU noise rules. The engine is also easy to maintain. No belts or chains. You only need to change the oil every 30,000 kilometers and check the free valve seals at 50,000. Tests show the system can survive over 1 million starts without braking, using the same valve parts found in large Scania trucks. It's crazy how little care this engine needs, given how much it can handle. In short, the Tiny Friendly Giant is more than new. It's the key that makes the Gemera a mix of fast supercar and long-distance cruiser. When its light crank turns, it sends power to a gearbox that shifts so fast it feels like one long push. But just when you think Koenigsegg hit their limit with a 600 horsepower, 3-cylinder engine, what's sitting right behind it is even crazier. A tiny electric motor so strong, it feels like it breaks the rules of physics. Silent but super powerful. Koenigsegg calls their new electric motor dark matter. A fitting name because even though it makes huge power, it's small and hidden between the engine's flywheel and the gearbox's input shaft. The axial flux design weighs only 39 kilograms, but tests show it delivers 800 horsepower and 1,250 newton meters of torque, making it the strongest electric motor in regular car production. The trick is the axial flux design, which combines two magnetic styles to pack more copper and stronger magnets into a case smaller than a carry-on bag. Keeping it cool could have needed its own radiator, but Koenigsegg engineers added it to the transmission oil system. The same oil cools the motor, flows through a cooler behind the rear diffuser, then returns. One fluid, one pump, no extra pipes. This setup saves about 6 kilograms and keeps the oil under 100 degrees Celsius, even with repeated hard acceleration. Christian von Koenigsegg says the motor can give full power for over 15 minutes without overheating, something most performance EVs can't do. Braking helps charge the battery. At low speeds, the motor acts like a generator when you lift off the pedal, recovering up to 200 kilowatts during heavy braking. One real-world trip from Geneva to Monaco showed that going downhill from the Col de Turini gave back 5 kilowatt-hours, enough for 15 kilometers of quiet driving. You don't feel it happen because the brakes use a smart system that blends motor resistance with real brake pressure, based on software tested in the Regera project. Sound control also matters. The motor is wrapped in carbon fiber to stop high-pitched noise above 10 kHz. Below 30 km per hour, the car makes a soft hum from speakers in the front grille to alert pedestrians, meeting EU rules. Once you speed up, the hum fades and the gas engine starts. It takes under 100 milliseconds, so it feels like one smooth boost instead of two separate power sources. Motor Trend reviewers called it the smoothest hybrid switch outside a maglev train. The motor spot also solves space issues. By placing it in line with the crank, Koenigsegg avoids bulky front or rear motor setups, keeping weight low and balanced. In full electric mode, the Gemera feels like a front mid-engine car because the battery is behind the firewall, helping steering feel sharp. When the gas engine kicks in, weight shifts slightly backward, helping grip on the wide back tires. That smooth change wouldn't be possible without the smart doors right next to us, which do more than just look cool. Let's step out and see them in action. Wings of steel. People often gather at Koenigsegg's car show displays not just for the horsepower, but to watch the Gemera's special Synchro-helix doors open. Press the button on the key and the big doors spin out, up and forward in one smooth move. This motion avoids high curbs and fits under low garage roofs. It may look like a magic trick, but it's clever engineering. A spiral-shaped track in a solid aluminum cam guides the door away from the body before it lifts upward. That way, even in tight European parking spots, the carbon door never hits other cars. The next feature is auto skin. Instead of a heavy pump just for the doors, Koenigsegg reuses spare pressure from the suspension system. When the ride height controls aren't being used, fluid flows through thin pipes in the door sills to tiny motors at the hinges. It only needs a little extra pressure, 7 bar, about 10% of what the system can handle, to open both doors and the rear hatch. And if the door gets too close to something, sensors under the mirrors detect it. A ceramic valve shuts instantly in 30 milliseconds to stop the door mid-move. This system even helps cool the car. The same fluid also cools the clutch and runs through the door hinges, where the large surface area releases heat into the air. After 3 hot laps at the Ascari racetrack in Spain, engineers saw the transmission fluid drop by 5 degrees, just from opening the doors in the pit lane. That clever trick saves the need for an extra cooler and keeps the car's underside clean for better airflow. Daily use was not forgotten. The car is easy to step into, just 38 centimeters off the ground, because there's no B-pillar and the whole side opens up. Rubber seals on the back edges press against the roofline at speed, keeping wind noise low, only 70 decibels at 130 kilometers per hour, proven in an Austrian wind tunnel. If you're loading shopping, you can choose quick load mode, which lifts the doors just 15 centimeters, enough to toss in bags without showing off what's inside. In tight garages, the doors also adjust how high they open using sealing sensors. Maintenance is simple. The sealed hydraulic system uses less than a liter of light fluid. Koenigsegg recommends checking it every 50,000 kilometers or 5 years. Owners of early cars report no leaks at all, thanks to strong O-rings and Teflon-lined parts inside the door arms. When the doors close, they lock into the carbon body with solid clicks, like a vault. That carbon shell is our next focus, because it holds the car together with the strength of a racing prototype. Koenigsegg's carbon secret. Under the shiny paint and fancy doors lies the part that makes all the Gemera's wild features possible, the carbon fiber tub. Koenigsegg says it has a torsional stiffness of 65,000 Newton-meters per degree, stronger than many Le Mans race cars, even though it leaves space for 4 adults. The trick is layering carbon sheets over an aluminium honeycomb core, then curing it all under vacuum at 120 degrees Celsius for 7 hours. Strong ribs run from front to back so forces go around the glass and doors, not through them. It's also extremely safe. In crash tests, the same carbon shell survived a 56 km/h frontal hit without bending the A-pillars. The doors still opened by hand. Sensors showed peak G-forces under 22, and no fuel spilled because the tanks are safely hidden inside double-walled sills filled with foam. In a US side impact at 50 km/h, a barrier hit the door. Inside, the trim didn't even dent and the carbon tub passed X-ray checks. Koenigsegg simply replaced the body panels and used the same tub for more crash tests, something regular car makers don't do. Cars with carbon bodies can be noisy, but not the Gemera. Engineers added special layers to absorb sound. Between 2 of the carbon layers sits a rubbery film that blocks engine vibrations at 180 and 360 Hz, the same rhythm as the engine firing. Above that, strong foam blocks soften crashes and provide places to bolt in the memory foam seats, while also hiding wires and cooling pipes. They even shaped cup-holder cooling tubes into the roof's frames so they don't need to drill any holes. This stiffness also helps with design. Since the body holds the suspension forces, the aluminium subframes can be lighter. The roof doesn't need a strong crossbar, giving tall people plenty of headroom. At the front, 2 luggage spaces ahead of the crumple zone fit helmets or small bags. In back, a ribbed carbon tray under the hatch can hold 100 kilograms and also acts as a heat sink for the battery, keeping it cool even on long, fast highway runs. The carbon tub only weighs 90 kilograms unpainted, helping the full car stay at 1,715 kilograms, a very light weight for a 4-seater with a large battery and 3 power units. Most of this mass sits between the wheels, so even with its stiff structure, the ride stays smooth. Now that we're seated inside this ultra-strong shell, it's time to explore how Koenigsegg handles the extreme heat created when all 2,300 horsepower work together. Why this Koenigsegg doesn't melt. Cramming 2 turbochargers, a big electric motor, an inverter, and a lithium battery into one car usually creates a heat disaster. Koenigsegg's solution? A network of heat exchangers and smart software, all coordinated by a single brain. Up front, 2 large radiators are tilted at 45 degrees, helping guide airflow smoothly under the car before exiting through vents in the hood. Sensors track coolant temperature and adjust the front grille shutters accordingly. When full cooling isn't needed, they close, cutting aerodynamic drag by 7% during light driving. The 800-volt battery has its own cooling loop filled with an ethylene glycol mix. A dedicated chiller, tucked under the left headlight, can cool the battery to 20 degrees Celsius even in stop-and-go traffic on a 40 degrees Celsius day, so full power is always ready. During braking, the battery heats up quickly, so the system opens the grille and turns on a 3-kilowatt electric coolant pump, borrowed from the Reg Air. It flushes hot fluid through the front radiator, and when you accelerate again, the grille shutters close in just 2 seconds to regain aerodynamic efficiency. Brakes get the same careful treatment. Though each corner has carbon ceramic discs, Koenigsegg adds independent cooling. NACA ducts in front of the front wheels direct air through carbon tubes that also serve as lightweight suspension arms. In the rear, the central triplex damper leaves room for airflow from side intakes to reach the brake calipers directly. During 20 hot laps at Spa, the brake rotors stayed under 620 degrees Celsius, impressive for a 4-person, 2-ton hypercar. Koenigsegg even uses heat to improve comfort. Waste heat from the engine coolant is sent through a heat exchanger behind the firewall, then piped into the cabin to warm it on cold mornings. The same system can also work in reverse. Chilled coolant pre-cools the engine before a hot restart in summer, reducing engine knock and improving throttle response. This dual use means no need for bulky electric heaters, helping the car preserve its EV range in winter. And because Koenigsegg loves data, all temperature systems feed into a track app viewable on the center screen. You can monitor inlet temps, coolant flows, and brake heat in real time, just like race car telemetry. If anything gets too hot, the system shows helpful tips on the heads-up display, like suggesting a 10-second lift to cool the brakes or activating quiet mode to use the larger cooling loop. With all this tech, the Gemera shows it can manage extreme heat while delivering massive performance. That leaves just one more surprise: real storage space for everyday life. Most hypercars give up practicality in the name of speed, but not the Gemera. Open the front clamshell and you'll find a 100-liter molded frunk, shaped to fit 2 carry-on bags or a pair of helmets. It's placed ahead of the crash zone, but energy-absorbing foam lines the floor so the compartment still opens after a 50 km/h accident. A full-length LED strip under the hinge lights the area for nighttime loading. At the back, lift the powered glass hatch and you'll uncover another 100-liter storage space, hidden under a carbon panel. 4 forged aluminum anchors hold luggage in place, even during cornering that hits 1.4 G. Just behind, a shallow shelf spans 90 centimeters, exactly the size of a folded baby stroller. Christian von Koenigsegg added this after realizing his child's pram wouldn't fit in the Agera. The shelf even has a 12V outlet for running a cooler during road trip breaks. Inside, all 4 seats fold flat with a twist of a leather-trimmed knob, creating a 2-meter-long flat floor. At last year's Nürburgring session, some owners used it to sleep overnight, running the climate system from external power to keep the cabin at 20 degrees Celsius. It only used 2 kilowatt-hours of energy, showing the car's battery supports both speed and comfort. When the seats return upright, their backs reveal hidden pockets for tablets and charging cables, keeping the cabin tidy. Koenigsegg even thought about wet or dirty gear. Under the rear floor is a sealed space with a washable bag for muddy shoes or ski gloves. Just pull the rubber plug, rinse with water, and drain it through the sill. That same space holds the tire repair kit, which uses a safe sealant for the carbon wheels. Need even more room? An optional carbon roof box adds 300 liters of space but increases drag by only 3 counts, dropping range by less than 3% at 130 km/h. Put it all together, and the Gemera carries 4 adults, 4 cabin bags, 2 helmets, a stroller, and a cooler, then rockets from 0 to 100 km/h in 1.9 seconds. That blend of raw power and real-world usability isn't by accident. It's the result of Koenigsegg's obsession with every detail, from cooled cup holders to intelligent hybrid systems. After exploring all its hidden talents, it's clear, the Gemera isn't built around gimmicks. It's an ecosystem where speed, comfort, and practicality work in perfect harmony. Try finding that anywhere else on 4 wheels with a license plate. So, what's your take on Koenigsegg's tourbillon transmission? Could this change how hypercars are built forever? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to HSN Talks for more amazing videos.